What is up, everybody? It's a little happy hour hoops edition of the national championship. We have Gonzaga and Baylor tonight, a highly anticipated matchup. March Madness is ending because it is April, and that's when March Madness ends for some reason. But before we get into things, I would like to say that Happy Hour Hoops and Trainwreck Sports is brought to you by Manscaped. To avoid that summertime madness below the belt, you better go over to manscaped.com and use the code word Trainwreck at checkout, get 20% off, free shipping. But Manscaped aside, we got hoops tonight. Donovan Holden here with Jake Micah, some guy named Steve, Stevie, and Meerkat from Trainwreck Sports. What's up, guys? How we doing?
Guys, I only brought out the best tonight for the Natty, the natural ice can.
There you go.
We bring out the best brews here on Happy Hour Hoops for the best. I've got another beer here because there's no way I could drink this shit the whole time. But we're going to start off here. I mean, guys, we're finally here, and we got the national championship we all were hoping for. Gonzaga Baylor. We've been waiting for this game since December. Let's just give me how you guys are feeling going to the national title. I'll start with Meerkat. We'll go around the horn. Just how excited are you to, after a year of no tournament, and now with these two teams, the anticipation the whole year long, like how are you feeling just getting ready as we're about 40-ish minutes outside of tip here?
My biases aside with who I wanted to be in this championship game, we are blessed. Like, we are absolutely blessed with this game. Baylor Gonzaga, you couldn't ask for a better matchup between two teams that deserve a championship this year. It's going to be a hell of a game. I think so. People were kind of down on the Final Four this year just because, you had a Houston and that exciting team. You had a low seed like UCLA who had to do a play-in, not that exciting either. And it's just like people were kind of talking shit about the Final Four, and it made me mad because what did that Final Four produce? Potential for an absolutely incredible championship game. Like, this could be an all-timer tonight.
Yeah. I'm so excited. Gonzaga and Baylor, they've been the two best teams for over a year now, and we were going to get this game as, middle of the regular season, see who actually is the best between the two. That got canceled because of COVID, and now you see, the tournament happens. There's upsets everywhere, but the two best teams just prevailed. They just persevered through. And I don't know how tonight is going to top Gonzaga UCLA. I really don't. But we have the two best teams, without question, in college basketball all year playing tonight. You got NBA prospects all over the court tonight. It's going to be a phenomenal game. I can't wait to watch it. It could be a slugfest, or it could be 100 to 102. You really don't know. These teams are elite at both offense and defense. They can do everything. They can shoot. They can force turnovers. I think it's just going to be a battle for 40 minutes, and I can't wait for it.
Yeah. On the same page as Stevie there. I mean, we're talking about the two top seeds pretty much all through college basketball this year. It's the first time since 2005 the two top seeds will meet in the title game. Stevie mentioned how these two teams have kind of been the best in basketball for over a year now. The last two seasons, both these teams are combined 115-8 record. That's insane.
That's pretty good.
Obviously, we know Gonzaga hasn't lost this season. We talk about, after that Jalen Suggs hit the other night, it kind of seems like they're the team of destiny, but that's up for Baylor to decide. I think it's going to be tight all game long.
Yeah.
Man, yeah. The team of destiny. I'm like back and forth, like from the team of destiny thing, because was that the last little gasp of luck that they could pull out there? Because, man, it was that whole game. I just thought it was ripe. Like, it was exactly the kind of game we were talking about Saturday. Like, if UCLA is going to pull this off, they have to do this, and this, and they were doing all of it. They did everything they needed to do, and it still comes down to just we were talking about the other day. It just comes down to they had the player that could make that shot in that moment, and that's how it's been for them all year long. So as we just talked about there a little bit, Gonzaga chasing history, looking to become the first 32-0 team, first undefeated team since Indiana.
Yeah.
What do you think that's going to play in? Do you think these guys are going to be tight at all tonight, Meerkat? Do you think there's anything that we should look for? Like, are they going to come out, the jumper's going to be looking flat? Are you expecting that? Or do you think that Mark Few just has these guys ready to go at a moment's notice?
I do think the pressure plays into it a little bit, they weren't expecting that game against UCLA. They needed a miracle from Suggs to win a game they were probably very confident heading into. The country was confident behind them, and you get that. And then the pressure of going for an undefeated season with, some of the heartbreaks Gonzaga's had in the tournament. It's just it just is building up where this stuff has to be on these guys' minds tonight. I don't see how it's not. It just, especially after the UCLA game, now chasing perfection, going up against a juggernaut like Baylor, even though they are the juggernaut, but still
Right.
that pressure is there. I don't think mentally they're going to be 100%.
I'm gonna kind of go on the other side of this. I think Gonzaga's going to try to play up to the moment. As you saw with UCLA, as that game was kind of close the whole way, the Gonzaga players showed emotion throughout. And that's something, when you see a team that wins by 20 every single night, to have their players into a game, just into a close game the whole way, that's really impressive for me because they know, okay, we actually have to turn it up now. UCLA is not going away. UCLA would hit contested shot after contested shot. It didn't matter what Gonzaga did. And like you said, too, it's not just offensive, it's defensive. What Gonzaga does, they need to step up. Drew Timme, I think, made the play of the game. Jalen Suggs, buzzer beater, phenomenal. It's a moment we'll never forget. But Drew Timme with 4 fouls, drawing a charge on Juzang to force overtime was the biggest play in my mind. And then with 4 fouls, Drew Timme attacked and scored the first 6 points of overtime. I mean, the way these guys have stepped up in the moment, I think Gonzaga wants a challenge. I think they actually want to beat an elite team in a close game. So there's no Gonzaga's played nobody. They played a cupcake schedule. And the emotion they showed in the UCLA game when it was close, even when they were trailing and when they'd get a basket, it was kind of all right, I think these guys are ready for the moment. I really do.
Yeah, I think that was the first time I've ever seen a charge force overtime. That was it was insane.
With 4 fouls too. That's the crazier part. 1 away from fouling out, he didn't care. Just stepped right in
on the line, and that's been Timme the whole tournament too. I mean, it's his star's grown just because he's been making those plays the whole time and getting that notoriety and getting the notice for it. We got a comment here from our boy Maniac. He says he's leaning under here. Thinks it's going to be a grinded out game. That's good. Hey. That's a good teaser fodder there. We could throw that in there, throw the under. I'd be down to take that and see what we can do there. That's the one thing I wanted to talk about with Baylor the other day, dominating. Like he said, they dominated Houston the other day. I mean, it was immediate. It you could tell right when they got on the floor. And we were talking about that with Houston the other day in the preview too. What does this team really look like? They haven't really played anybody this kind of level yet. They had to play they played all double-digit seeds all the way through. What was it going to look like when they played a real competition? And it immediately outclassed.
It was ugly.
Yeah, it got ugly. So just Stevie going forward with tonight, Baylor did not, just as you were saying about Gonzaga, they got that taste of having a close game, a high pressure game in the Final Four scenario on that court. Baylor the other night, nothing, man. They didn't have any pressure. They were just cruising into this championship game. So are they kind of the teams that are going to be, with the deer in the headlights if Gonzaga comes out firing like they have the last couple games?
I don't think so. And part of it is just because Baylor's COVID pause. They kind of had that lull already where they came off a big break. They played a couple of sloppy games. Iowa State led them at half. It was one of the worst teams in college basketball all year long. Kansas beat them. Kansas is a solid team, but Baylor's much better than them. And this tournament, Baylor looked like the team of old. And I don't think Baylor is going to think twice about the Houston game. I think they think they're on the same level as Gonzaga, and they should because they are that good. Mm-hmm. And I think Baylor's mindset this tournament has been, we want to kill you. We want to blow you out. We don't want to give you a chance. And even in the Arkansas game where Arkansas tried to, come back a little bit, Baylor controlled that game basically from start to finish. And really the only game they trailed for a little bit was Villanova in the first half, and that second half Baylor team just completely took the game over, and that's what Baylor's capable of doing with their guard play. I don't think they're going to take Gonzaga lightly, and it could be a game where maybe Baylor comes out too strong, maybe not flat, but maybe too strong, and then maybe go a little cold shooting. Gonzaga goes on a run, but I don't think either of these teams will come out flat to start.
Yeah, so Dunny, were you thinking first half wise, if we were looking at that, would you be leaning towards we're looking at under or over? Like, do you think these guys are going to be juiced up and ready to just go, or are we going to get like we've seen some of these tournament games start out where it's like 8-4 with 12 minutes left? You're like, what the hell is going on here? We getting that? Are these teams too good tonight? Is it you expecting some offense?
No, I think they're one, too good, and two. I mean, we've kind of touched on it, but just the last game both these teams are coming off of. I mean, obviously, you could take it in a positive way or negative, but you would have to think Gonzaga, one, is already the hottest team in basketball. They have all the confidence in the world after a buzzer beater half court goes in for the win. Suggs jumps up on the table like he's D-Wade. I mean, if you're not amped up about that, then you have bigger problems going into the national championship. And then Baylor, the way they started that game against Houston, I mean, it was kind of just like Houston wasn't even on the floor with them. Offensive rebounds to threes, living outside the arc, playing in transition. I would say both these teams are going to be ready to get after it. Stevie mentioned they both are good defensively, but that could turn into transition buckets for either team. Mm-hmm. I'm saying the scoring will be there all game long.
That's what I want. I'm hoping for the fireworks, man. Like this. I mean, just like the other night, because I was not expecting UCLA to be able to keep pace with Gonzaga. I mean, let's get into that game here just quick a little bit because we didn't get to talk after that game. I mean, I experienced it in the weirdest way, honestly, like the most 2021 way, because I was still driving home from my hockey game. So we're like listening on a stream. So I'm like half listening. And then like Twitter was ahead of the stream. So I'm getting tweet notifications from from this account, from other accounts. I'm like, what the hell is going on? But still just like, when you have that kind of moment for a team before the championship game, I know that you guys mentioned already team of destiny was a word, and that is, I mean, that's a term I would like to use Gonzaga, but before a championship game, like, would you rather, if it was your team, I guess, so I'm thinking in the terms of a Gonzaga fan here, Meerkat, like if you're a Gonzaga fan going into this game, are you more worried, like thinking that or are you ready for anything because you've already been at the edge of your seat, literally at the last point of no return and came, well, I guess it was tied. So you're just looking at double overtime, but still, you know where I'm going with that.
If I was a Gonzaga fan, I'd be all over the place right now. I'd be like me with the Bills in the playoffs this year. Like, oh, I'm so confident. Bills by $1 billion. They're going to get crushed. But then on the inside, I am just like a jittery ball of anxiety, freaking out. It's just like, oh, my God, oh, my God, oh, my God. That's what I'd be doing tonight because I think the pressure, I said maybe Gonzaga's team feels it a bit. The fans have to feel that pressure right now, especially with the way they won last game. It's just like, how can you not? Obviously, it's exciting, and you're going to, like, they're just playing that Suggs shot over and over and over again. I'd wake up to that shot. I'd fall asleep to that shot if I was a Gonzaga fan. But it's also like, okay, we needed that shot, though, to get here right now in a game we should have won. It's just, I'd be a mess right now if I was a Gonzaga fan. As a spectator on the outside with no real rooting interest other than my bets, I'm just really excited to watch the game, though, because I'm expecting some fireworks. I'm expecting some antics, maybe a little drama sprinkled in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're all in I mean, you just nailed it right on the head there, Meerkat. I mean, that got me re-amped up for this game. I'm not going to lie.
I think Meerkat's exactly right, too, for Gonzaga fans. Like, they're just going to be losing their minds because Gonzaga didn't play a bad game versus UCLA. That's the biggest, takeaway from that. It's not like Gonzaga played poorly. UCLA just made contested shot after contested shot. They didn't let Gonzaga pull away. I looked into some advanced statistics from the previous game. Gonzaga wins that 98 out of 100 times when you just go by pure shot selection from both teams. Wow. 98 out of 100. And Gonzaga, they shot 57% from the field. Like, they shot well. Yeah, they were 33% from three. They turned it over a little bit. But Gonzaga played a great game. UCLA was just with them the whole way. So if you're a Gonzaga fan, you got to be thinking, well, what if Baylor does that? Baylor's a more talented team. What if they start hitting all these types of shots? Can we, keep up with this for 40 minutes? Because, like I said, the way to beat Gonzaga, you have to play your best game, and they have to play one of their worst. And UCLA played out of their minds, but unlucky for them, Gonzaga still played a great game. And somehow Gonzaga led at half and won the game on a buzzer beater in a game that really, I think the whole time we were waiting for the heartbreak. Just the way UCLA was playing, the way they were hitting shots, we're like, when's it coming? and Gonzaga somehow survived. So
if the pressure wasn't on enough for Gonzaga too, this is the sixth matchup ever between these teams, and Gonzaga's 5-0 in that. So not only are they undefeated on the season, they're undefeated against Baylor all time. I mean,
and got to win 6 in a row for the tourney and to beat Baylor too. That's man.
Not to mention too their coach Mark Few. He's probably the most deserving coach who doesn't have a national championship.
yeah.
To try to get him one, I mean, the players have to be thinking of that to some extent as well. I mean, he's gotten them there. He's built this dynasty, but he needs to cut down the nets, and I think they know that too.
The same can be said for Scott Drew, though. I mean, too,
Yeah,
Baylor,
another
he's been there for
deserving
so
coach.
long, like that's been there forever. They've been through as much as we've seen the heartbreaks longer for Gonzaga. They've been on top for longer, but Baylor, the last 10 years or so, been a power, been in so many heartbreaking situations. I mean, that's the best part about this game is that, like, as much as I'm like, I think we're all kind of pulling for Gonzaga. We want to see the history and everything tonight, but Baylor is an incredible. No matter what, we're coming out with a worthy champion. We don't feel cheated by this tournament at all. This is who is supposed to be there. This is the two teams we wanted to see the whole time. So, we'll just leave on this before we move on here. The Selly was the best part. I'm going to say that was. He wanted to channel his Dwayne Wade. He said his Michael Jordan. It was pretty good. I'll give it like a 7 for the Dwayne Wade, the impersonation of the stars. It wasn't as clean as them, but it was still good. It was still a good moment for that one.
The reactions by the other players on the court too.
Oh my God, perfect. The UCLA guy with
and then Corey Kispert, the inbounds pass. He's just standing around while Suggs takes it, and then he sprints down the court. He was the second man there. It was unbelievable, the reaction by them.
Unreal. The range too, just an incredible shot. All right, so before we wrap up here, I think we all could go either way with the spread here. So I just want to go score prediction. We'll start with Dunny and go all the way around. What's your score? Who's winning tonight? What's your score prediction? And bonus, who's going to end up being most outstanding player at the end of the night too?
I'm going Gonzaga 76, Baylor 71, Drew Timme with 25 plus points, most outstanding player.
I'm going to go Gonzaga 82, Baylor 74, and I'm with Dunny here, Drew Timme. I think he takes the game over on the inside, 20-plus points, and maybe give him the double-double. Give him 10-plus rebounds, too.
Baylor 84, Gonzaga 79. I think Baylor will run away with this in the second half. I like there to be points on the board. I like Davion Mitchell to absolutely turn it up, though. A little quiet last game. Threw up that nice RJ Hampton point guard double-double with the rebounds, but still want to see him make some more noise tonight. I mean, I've fully talked myself into Baylor now at this point. Just so many little things playing into it for me. Like I think little things like Baylor being able to have a sweat-free win against a good Houston team, then relax, celebrate after, and watch Gonzaga's game and break that down. While Gonzaga had to prep, not watch Baylor's game, play late night, and then win on a thriller. I think that's just immediately Baylor's off to the advantage. A lot of little things that, weird numbers going into this, like Gonzaga being 2-6 against the spread in their last 8 games. They've scored over 90 points, and Baylor 6-1 against the spread as their last 7 as underdogs, which they're not underdogs a lot, but they like to perform against the spread as underdogs. I think that with how deep we saw their team run against Houston, how easily they handled that, feisty Houston defense there. They ran deep the entire game. They got consistency from multiple people, and Gonzaga does the exact same thing and might have a little more star power. But I just think Baylor pulls it off tonight. I've talked myself into it. I was back and forth going up until this show pretty much, and now I'm all the way in on Baylor.
Love it.
I love it. Yeah. So I love that stat about you that you have about Baylor covering the Gonzaga, the 2-6. Since after wins or after scoring 90 points, because I do think Baylor's going to cover. But I think if we're getting full Team of Destiny and we're getting full storybook ending, I want give me all the dramatics, give me everything. So I'm going 91-89 overtime Gonzaga. Maybe not a buzzer beater craziness like that, but I think I think this game's going to be back and forth the whole way. I think we're going to get an insane game by these teams. I just think these two teams are too good to not go at each other the whole night. Like I I just can't picture these teams, either of them being down by like 10 and just being out of it. So I think we're going back and forth the whole night. But I'm going with the Zags. I want to see the undefeated season after no March Madness last year and the whole COVID season this year. We deserve some history tonight. So at the very least, a good game. But it's shaping up to be a good one tonight, guys.
I just hope it's close. I really do hope it's close. If Baylor wins, Baylor wins. I want Gonzaga to win. I want to see the undefeated season. Just give me a close game. I don't want to see a blowout. That's all I ask.
If you were any better on the fence tonight, we probably didn't make this any easier.
No,
that's what I was about to say. I was going to say, if you're a degenerate, you're on the fence tonight, maybe just don't even do anything and enjoy the game. Like, I'm going small on Baylor. I just want a little bit of an interest. You can't not bet on, I'm a degenerate. You can't not bet on this game. But I've really been back and forth on it so many times. I think it's just going to be a great game, and just enjoy it, folks. Enjoy
I hope
this
both
game.
Teams have fun. I hope both.
I just want everyone to have fun out there tonight.
This is the fun podcast. We don't need no drama. We don't need no sadness. Let's just have them go. We got a couple picks here. Hammer the Baylor money line and the over. I'm going with the. I think I'm leaning towards a teaser with one of these teams. I don't know which one yet, but I think that over. I think we all want to see the points tonight. Let it fly. Let it go out. I mean,
159.5 is what I have right now. That is a lot of points.
But it is a lot. But hey, man.
I mean, these teams averaged 93 and 82, so.
We didn't come this far to bet under
175 right there. Exactly. You can't bet an under in a championship game, right? You can't bet an under in a championship game.
Not a shot. All right, so we got 3 on Gonzaga here. Meerkat going to go with Baylor. And let's see what happens. Let's see how the game goes out. I'm excited. Thank you to these boys jumping on here. We've been covering this. I mean, man, it feels like 3 weeks have flown by.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a lot of fun.
Tournament's always fun. So for Dunny here with some guy named Steve Meerkat, this is Jake Micah. Go enjoy the game, guys. Stay hydrated, have fun, and let's see who the national champion is at the end of the night.
Yeah.